Over the years, there's been a lot of conversations about Dave Ramsey. So Dave Ramsey has had the same philosophy for probably over 30 years. And some people think that his thoughts and his philosophies are outdated. And a lot of people just quite frankly think that he's just out of touch with the common person. I've seen a lot of commentary and comments at people say, Dave Ramsey's plans don't work for us. They're not realistic. And for the average person, they don't work. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through each one of the baby steps that he has laid out. Now, I will forewarn you that I'm not 100% certain what each one of these steps is called. So just bear with me for the sake of this video, because I'm going off of memory and I'm just going to be giving you my feedback and my thoughts on each one. So the very first step, Dave talks about having $1,000, getting $1,000 in your account. And that's kind of your starter fund. I believe that's what it's called, but I believe it's baby step one. And a lot of people nowadays say $1,000 is not nearly enough money to have in your account, because Dave started talking about these plans 20, 30 years ago, and $1,000 in an account in 2026 gets you basically nowhere. So I kind of agree and disagree with this sentiment, because recent studies have shown that a majority of Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency if something were to come up. So it's true that $1,000 absolutely doesn't go as far as it used to, but the fact remains that most Americans don't have that money in an account if they actually needed it. Now, let social media tell it, they're all six-figure earners. But here in reality, we know that that's likely the case. But on the other hand, when I start thinking about his baby step one, if I were to follow that plan, I would look at it like this. Okay, $1,000 is not enough, but maybe $1,000 is the amount that you put into an account, and that gives you the confidence to know that you're starting down the right path. And maybe instead of it being $1,000, you're looking to get $5,000 in an account. Now, for a lot of people, they'll say $5,000, that's out of reach, but I think that's a solid number to start with. If we take a look at number two, I believe that that one is that you pay off all of your debt and you don't invest in your retirement account while you're doing that. Now, I absolutely disagree with this step, because at a minimum, you should be getting the match in your 401k, right? That's free money that you're leaving on the table. And I understand the sentiment behind this. I understand why he teaches that. But at the same time, I would never suggest that people leave free money on the table. So at a minimum, get the match, and then everything above and beyond that, you can work into your debt pay down plan. But on the flip side of that, I absolutely agree with him that paying off debt should be one of the highest priorities that you have. Now, the third baby step, that is having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in a high yield savings account. This is one that I absolutely agree with, right? Because you have to be able to have money in an account that will allow you to be your own bank. If something were to happen, you lose a job, you don't have to depend on credit cards or taking out loans or missing payments on like your mortgage or your car payment or things of that nature, because you have money there that you can tap into when a need arises. Now, I think 6 months is a little bit of overkill. I lean more on the 3 months, but it also depends on your situation. If you are a single parent and you're only bringing in one income, 6 months of your income in a high yield savings account might be appropriate. If you are working a sales job where your paycheck is going to be different every single time you get paid, then maybe it makes sense for you to have a little bit more money in an account. But if you are being paid twice a month or 3 times a month, every 2 weeks, and you don't have any debt and you are being extremely responsible, then in my opinion, 3 months is enough, because the rest of that money can be deployed into either paying down debt or into investing in your financial future. And then the fourth baby step is investing 15% of your money into a retirement account. I agree with this, but I think you should do more. So I think 15% is a good amount for a majority of people to actually put into their account to actually start building some wealth in the future. But if you could do 20, 25, or 30%, that's what I like, right? So I try to keep my expenses as low as possible so I can invest more, not only in my retirement accounts, but in my brokerage accounts. But at a minimum, if you can't do 15%, I think 10% is a good number. All right, so that now puts us into baby step 5, which I believe is saving for your kids' college. Now, this is where I differ from a lot of people on this topic. I know a lot of people like 529 plans to save for their kids' college. I would prefer opening up a custodial brokerage account and putting money into that account. So from my understanding, there are rules and restrictions on how money that's in a 529 can be pulled out and how it can be utilized in the future. And I believe that you can be penalized if it's not used for educational purposes. In my opinion, I would rather put money in a brokerage account. And if your kid decides to actually go to college, that money could be used for that. But what if they don't want to go to college? What if they want to go the blue collar route? You can use it to pay for that. And then they could have money for a down payment for a house or whatever it may be. So again, I don't think it's a terrible idea to go the 529 route. But in my opinion, I'd rather go the brokerage account route because that will give you more flexibility on what you want to do with that money. Now, baby step 6 is paying off your house early. Now, this is one that I absolutely agree with Dave Ramsey. Once you get to a point to where you don't have any debt, you're investing, you're getting your kids' education squared away, that you should be taking some additional money and paying that towards paying off your mortgage early. I think this is one of the best pieces of advice that he gives because having a paid off house is the real flex. Now, I've talked a lot about in the past on being able to leave corporate America on my terms, whether that's when I'm 50 or I'm 55 or I'm 60, preferably before then. But having a paid off mortgage is a must. I will not leave corporate America having a mortgage that I'm still paying on every single month. And then baby step 7 is being able to be generous with your money. So after having a paid off mortgage, all your bills are paid off, your kids' education is squared away, you're in a position to be able to help your friends and your family whenever times get tough. I think this is absolutely a phenomenal thing that you can do if you can get yourself in that position. All right, so those are the 7 baby steps that are promoted by Dave Ramsey. I may not have hit them precisely on the head, but I believe I at least got the gist of where he was going with each one of these baby steps. I agree with the majority of the points that he believes in, but I would tweak them slightly to make sure that they meet the standards of today. So what do you guys think? There's a lot of people that completely dismiss or disagree with Dave Ramsey's beliefs and his talking points. But I believe for the most part, they're still extremely helpful to helping people get themselves out of debt and on track from a financial perspective. Leave your comment down below and let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.